built a version of you that could survive in chains. Polite, predictable, powerless. You were trained to not be yourself, taught to color inside the lines of other people's comfort, conditioned to wear a face they'd approve of, even if it meant erasing your own. But something doesn't sit right, does it? A quiet unrest, a gnawing sense that the life you're living isn't entirely yours, that somewhere, deep beneath the roles, routines, and responsibilities, something else waits. Something real. I'm not here to inspire your mask. I'm here to burn it off. Because the truth is this: you are a weapon they've hidden from yourself. And the longer you conform, the further you drift from the only thing that will ever fulfill you. Authenticity forged in agony. Selfhood born from battle. The you beneath the noise. The real. You doesn't beg to be accepted. It doesn't flinch when misunderstood. It doesn't apologize for its intensity, its hunger, its darkness. The real you has scars, and it wears them like armor. So let me ask you, how much longer will you betray yourself to maintain peace with people who never bothered to understand you? How many more days will you live as a shell while your soul screams from the prison of politeness? They told you to find yourself in careers, in brands, in validation. But those aren't mirrors. They're cages. You want to awaken the real you? Then prepare for war. Because becoming who you truly are means burning down who they taught you to be. It means unlearning the lies, silencing the noise, and walking into the fire of your own truth. Alone. Yes, alone. Self-discovery isn't a group activity. It's a brutal excavation of everything that isn't you, until all that remains is the raw, raging force you were always meant to be. No more smiling through silence. No more saying, "I'm fine," when your soul is suffocating. No more disguising your fire to comfort cowards afraid of their own. Let the world call you selfish when you choose truth over their illusions. Let them call you cold when you stop bleeding for their approval. This is not about becoming someone. This is about unbecoming everything you're not. And you'll know you're getting close when you feel terrified, when you feel alone, when your false life starts collapsing around you like rotted scaffolding. Good. That's how you know the real you is waking up. And when it does, you'll speak with thunder in your voice. You'll walk like you were born to conquer. And your mere existence will remind others of everything they buried to belong. But don't expect applause. The world doesn't cheer when you break their mirrors. They'll label you as rebellious, arrogant, dangerous. And maybe you are. But here's the secret. Dangerous is exactly what they fear. Because a person who's found themselves can no longer be controlled. You are not lost. You were suppressed. You were numbed, molded, filtered through the lens of survival. But the real you has been watching, waiting, sharpening its edges in the shadows. And now it's time to return. Not with excuses, not with apologies, but with presence so undeniable that even silence trembles. You don't owe this world your obedience. You owe it your truth. So if you're tired of pretending, if you're done playing roles that keep you small, then burn the script, shatter the mask, and rise as the version of you that never asked for permission in the first place. Because this life is not a stage. It's a battlefield, and your soul was born for war. Awaken the real you before it's too late. But awakening the real you isn't enough. Once you've burned the mask and stepped into your truth, you face a new challenge. How do you build a life that reflects that truth? How do you sculpt a journey so fulfilling it leaves no part of your soul starving? You don't stumble into that kind of life by accident. You craft it with vision, with discipline, with force. So if you're ready to go beyond self-discovery and start constructing a destiny worth living for, then it's time to enter the next phase. Here are 5 brutal, unshakable phases to sculpt a fulfilling life journey. A life that aligns with your truth and radiates purpose in every breath. Let's begin. Phase 1. Forge a definite inner vision. Before a warrior marches into battle, they must know what victory looks like. Before you sculpt a fulfilling life, you must see it clearly in your mind, before a single piece of it exists. This is the phase where most people fail, not because they lack ability, but because they lack clarity. They wander through life chasing shadows, mimicking trends, surviving day to day with no deep-rooted direction. They confuse movement for progress, busyness for purpose, and external noise for inner truth. But if you're here, you don't want to wander. You want to build. And for that, you need vision sharper than steel. So what is a definite inner vision? It's not a vague hope, like I want to be successful. It's not a shallow goal like I want more money. It's a clear, emotionally charged image of your ideal life, crafted by you, for you, from the fire in your gut. What does your day look like when you've arrived? Where do you wake up? What do you feel in your body as you step into that world? Who are you surrounded by? What work do you do that sets your soul on fire? What impact do you leave behind? This vision must be so vivid, so visceral, so undeniably real in your inner world, that your current reality begins to feel like the illusion. Because it is. Everything around you right now is simply the result of your previous assumptions. Old beliefs hardened into circumstance. If your current life feels unfulfilling, it's not because you're broken. It's because your internal blueprint is unfinished. Or worse, borrowed from someone else. This phase is not about asking, what can I get? It's about asking, what is mine to build, to become, to give? And that answer won't come from outside. It won't come from your job, your family, your friends, or your past. It will come in the silence, when the world stops screaming and you finally listen to that quiet, ancient voice inside. The one that's been whispering all along. You were meant for more, but you have to define it. This phase is sacred. Treat it like ritual. Turn off the noise. Shut out the opinions. Close your eyes. And for once, look inward. Because once you see it, once you feel the life you were meant to live in your bones, it starts. Not instantly on the outside, but in the unseen realm of your being. And the longer you hold that vision, the more your mind, your habits, your choices, your surroundings will begin to shift to match it. That is the law. That is the path. No vision, no direction. No direction, no fulfillment. You'll just drift, forever reacting, forever settling. But with vision, you become dangerous. You become inevitable. Because when you're armed with inner clarity, you're no longer chasing life. You're summoning it. So stop waiting for signs. Stop asking for permission. And for the first time in your life, see the world as you want it to be. Then, etch it into your soul like prophecy. Phase 2. Sculpt yourself into alignment. Once the vision is forged, your next move is not to chase it, but to become it. Understand this. You don't attract the life you want. You attract attract the life that reflects who you are on the inside. And if your current reality feels like a prison, it's because you are out of alignment. Your identity, the way you think, speak, act, and react, doesn't match the life you say you want. And life will never give you what you haven't prepared yourself to receive. So here's the brutal truth. It's not about doing more. It's about becoming more focused, more intentional, more disciplined, a walking embodiment of your vision before the world ever gives you a single drop of evidence. This is where the real work begins. Not in the gym, not in your bank account, not on social media, in the shadows, where no one sees, where you rewire the parts of yourself still clinging to the old life. You have to dismantle your current identity like a machine. Tear it down, strip it to the bones. Look at every habit, every belief, every routine, and ask, does this serve the version of me I'm becoming? Would the person living my dream life think this thought? Would they tolerate this behavior? Would they entertain these distractions? If the answer is no, then cut it. With precision, with violence, with zero negotiation. Because nothing changes until you do. This phase is about internal discipline. It's about emotional control, mental refinement, spiritual recalibration. You become obsessed, not with outcomes, but with alignment. You stop acting like a beggar chasing a dream and start walking like the person who already owns it. Your words change. Your posture changes. Your boundaries harden. Your standards rise. You stop tolerating low-level thoughts and behaviors because you know what they cost you. Your future. But here's what makes this brutal. Your old self will fight to survive. It will whisper temptations. It will scream comfort. It will try to convince you that you're being too extreme, too rigid, too unrealistic. That's how you know you're close. That's how you know you're changing. Because the moment your current identity feels threatened, you're breaking the mold. And that's the only way a masterpiece is ever born, by destroying what doesn't belong. So make no mistake, sculpting yourself into alignment means losing the version of you that the world trained, so the one you were born to be can rise. And when that alignment locks in, when your inner world mirrors your vision with such conviction that nothing sways you, the external begins to obey. Life bends. Opportunities appear. People treat you differently, not because you asked, but because you became. Because the universe doesn't reward the wishful. It rewards the aligned. Phase 3. Assume the reality of your desire. There comes a moment in every warrior's journey when they must stop pursuing the vision and start living as though it's already theirs. This is where most fail. They wait for proof before they believe. They wait for signs before they move. They ask life to show them results before they commit to being the version of themselves who can handle it. But it doesn't work like that. Reality doesn't respond to your doubt. It responds to your dominant state of being. If you want a fulfilling life, you must assume the position of someone who already has it, before a single shred of evidence shows up. This is not about faking it. It's about creating from the inside out. It's not about tricking the world. It's about commanding it by taking your place in the timeline you were born for. Here's how this works. Close your eyes. Step into your vision. Not as an observer, but as a participant. Feel the peace of already having it. Feel the power of already being that version of yourself. Feel the certainty that it's done. Then carry that energy into everything. Speak from it. Walk with it. Make decisions as that version of you would. You are no longer asking, "How do I get there?" You are declaring, "This is where I operate from now on." This phase is spiritual warfare, because everything in your current environment will scream the opposite. Your bank account might laugh. Your job might drain you. Your relationships might reflect the old patterns. But none of that matters unless you bow to it. And if you do, you lose. Because the moment you allow external facts to override internal truth, you reinforce the same prison you were trying to escape. This is about faith in motion, not blind faith. Deliberate, conscious, chosen faith, lived through action, and that faith must be ruthless. When the old reality claws at you, hold the line. When doubt creeps in, double down. When nothing seems to be changing, be unshakable. Because in this phase, you are no longer reacting to the world. You are dictating it. You are shifting your state of being to match the life you desire so completely that reality has no choice but to reorganize itself around your assumption. Let this burn into your mind. You are not chasing your dream life. You are stepping into it. You're not hoping. You're embodying. And when you assume the reality of your desire with enough conviction, your body follows. Your mind sharpens. Your world shifts. Not because you forced it, but because you became it. This is the power they never taught you. Because a person who no longer waits for permission is a person who can no longer be controlled. So stop waiting. Step into the version of you that already exists beyond your fear and live from it, relentlessly, unapologetically, unstoppably. Phase 4. Act with purposeful faith. This is the phase where belief becomes muscle, where vision becomes footsteps, where identity demands proof, not from the world, but from you. Up until now, you've done the internal work. You've forged the vision. You've aligned your being. You've assumed the life you desire as your inner state. Now comes the strike, the real movement. Because a fulfilling life cannot be thought into existence alone. It must be moved into, built, carved into time with action that reflects certainty, not hesitation. This is not about frantic hustle. It's not about grinding to prove your worth. This is purposeful faith in motion. Every action taken as if your desired reality already exists. Not someday. Now. Here's the truth. Most can't stomach. The life you want is already here, but it's layered behind a mountain of tests. Each test asks the same question. Will you act in alignment with the vision, even when it looks like nothing's working? Most break here. They flinch. They pause. They wait to feel ready. They delay until conditions are perfect, never realizing that perfection is a product of movement, not a prerequisite. So what does purposeful faith look like? You invest in yourself before the world sees your value. You build the business, write the book, record the message, not to get attention, but because your identity demands it. You show up early, stay late, train harder, speak louder, not because someone's watching, but because you are watching yourself. You become a force of nature, not moved by reward, not chasing applause, but powered by conviction, driven by a future so clear, you'd rather die trying than live one more day pretending you're less than what you are. But here's the battle inside this phase. The old world will test you. You'll be ignored, mocked, doubted, even by those closest to you. But that's not failure. That's the signal. It means you've left the realm of the ordinary. And now, The system is reacting to your disruption. Don't retreat. The bridge to your vision is not made of hope. It's made of choices, one after another, stacked with relentless consistency until the dream becomes a habit, until the world catches up to what you already knew inside. So move. Move like it's already yours. Move like a warrior who knows they cannot be denied. Move with clarity, decisiveness, and an aura of inevitability. And when doubt knocks, you don't pause. You respond with action. Because nothing silences fear more than progress. And the more you act in alignment with your desired reality, the more the unseen begins to organize around you. Opportunities arrive. Doors crack open. The pieces assemble. Not by magic, but because you moved when others waited. This phase isn't glamorous. It's not always loud, but it's sacred. Because the one who acts with purposeful faith becomes the author of their future. While the world hesitates, you build. While others seek signs, you become one. And in doing so, you inch closer, not to a fantasy, but to a life of unshakable fulfillment, sculpted by your own hands. Phase 5. Discipline the inner kingdom. The vision is alive. Your identity is reformed. Your assumption has been made. Your actions echo with faith. But now you face the most dangerous part of the journey, the maintenance of mastery. Because success doesn't crumble from lack of effort. It crumbles from lack of discipline once the vision starts working. This is where most warriors fall. Not in the battle for belief, but in the comfort that comes after. You see, the human mind has a tragic tendency. It normalizes blessings. It gets bored with the extraordinary. And worst of all, it forgets the war it took to get here. That's why this final phase is the hardest of all. Can you sustain the mind that created the life you now live? Or will you slip, slowly, back into the mediocrity you once fought so hard to escape? The inner kingdom is your mind, your emotional world, your thought temple. And in this final phase, you must become its guardian. Because even after you've built something powerful, doubt will try to sneak back in like a thief in the night. Old patterns will try to seduce you. Comfort will whisper soft lies. You've done enough. You can relax now. It's okay to let things slide. No, that's not rest. That's regression. That's the enemy trying to reclaim your throne. If you let your thoughts drift, if you let your standards drop, if you start making emotional decisions without discipline, you will lose everything you built. Not because someone took it, but because you stopped protecting it. So what does it mean to discipline the inner kingdom? It means relentless mental hygiene. You wake up and command your thoughts before the world has a chance to infect them. You monitor your inner dialogue like a sniper on a rooftop. You stop negative self-talk the second it arises. Not because you're fragile, but because you're dangerous when focused. You meditate, visualize, affirm, and train daily. Not as rituals, but as weapons. You do not let your imagination run wild with fear. You direct it like a general commands an army. Because the quality of your inner kingdom is the blueprint for your outer world. But discipline doesn't mean rigidity. It means vigilance. You stay adaptable. You evolve. You stay connected to the vision, but you remain agile in your methods. And above all, you remember who you are. Because there will come days when the fire feels dim, when the vision feels distant, when setbacks feel like signs. That's when this phase becomes life or death. Can you still move like it's already yours? Can you still lead your thoughts when the world goes silent? Can you remain rooted in truth when no one else believes? This is where legends are forged. In the repetition, in the boredom, in the silent hours where no one is watching but you. Because a fulfilling life isn't built once and done. It's maintained every day by the one who holds the crown of their own mind. You are that one, but only if you defend it. So rise with discipline, move with strategy, think like royalty, and never, never let the gates of your inner kingdom fall. Because when the mind is fortified, the vision thrives, the identity deepens, the actions sharpen, and the dream doesn't just manifest, it stays. This is how a fulfilling life becomes your legacy, not by luck, not by accident, but by the brutal, beautiful mastery of you. Bonus Phase 6. Leave a trail of impact. You didn't come this far just to enjoy your private victories in silence. A truly fulfilled life doesn't end with self-gratification. It echoes. Once you've sculpted the life aligned with your highest truth, you face the final and most sacred task. Turn your existence into a force that awakens others. This isn't about fame. It's not about followers, applause, or legacy carved in marble. It's about living in such a way that your very presence breaks illusions, that your life itself becomes proof. Proof that freedom is real, that self-mastery is possible, that truth is worth fighting for. Because when people look at you, they should feel the difference. They should sense that they are in the presence of someone who refused to conform, who walked through hell and came back forged, not fractured. Here's the paradox most never understand. A fulfilling life becomes eternal the moment it's no longer just about you. You start with a vision for yourself, but if that vision is truly aligned, it will eventually overflow. It will pour into your words, your work, your energy. It will ripple into every room you enter and every soul you meet. You become a mirror, not to reflect people's illusions back to them, but to shatter those illusions and show them who they could be. That's impact, not performance, not people-pleasing, but radical authenticity that challenges everything fake in its path. So what does this phase demand of you? Live out loud, not by being loud in volume, but in intensity. Live so fully, so aligned, that your life becomes a message that requires no explanation. Share your fire. Teach. Lead. Building. Whether it's one person or millions, make it your mission to leave people stronger than you found them. Hold the line. You will be tested, even now. The more light you emit, the more shadows will try to dim it. But that's the cost of being the beacon in a world addicted to fog. Refuse to shrink. Don't water down your truth to make others comfortable. Fulfillment isn't passive. It radiates. Be unapologetic. Be rare. And never forget this. The most powerful impact is not what you do for others. It's who you become in front of them. A warrior at peace. A storm in stillness. A soul so whole that it can't help but awaken others to their own potential. That's how you become immortal. Not through monuments, not through wealth, but through change. Real, raw, irreversible change in the hearts of those you touch. So what now? You've forged the vision. You've aligned your identity. You've assumed it, acted on it, protected it. Now, let it ripple. Because fulfillment isn't found in isolation. It's amplified in connection, in service, in impact. And when you die, because you will, the world won't remember what you owned. It will remember what you ignited. So make it count. Make it real. Make it undeniable. Live a life so brutally true that those still asleep can't help but open their eyes. That's how you leave a mark that can't be erased. That's how you complete the journey. So now you see the path. Not a fantasy, not a shortcut, but a forged journey. Brutal, real, and worthy of the one who dares to walk it. It begins with phase 1, forging a definite inner vision, where you abandon the noise, the roles, and the watered-down dreams they handed you, and instead carve your own destiny with precision and fire. You choose your vision. You define it. You own it. Then comes phase 2, sculpting yourself into alignment. You tear down every piece of the false self. You don't wish for your future. You become the kind of person worthy of it. In mindset, in discipline, in identity. Next is phase 3, assuming the reality of your desire. You stop waiting for signs. You step into your dream reality as if it's already yours. You carry yourself with the confidence of someone who has already arrived, because energetically you have. Then you enter phase 4, acting with purposeful faith. You move with intention. You build, speak, and decide from a place of conviction, not need. You no longer flinch. You no longer hesitate. Your actions become declarations. But a kingdom built must be protected. So in phase 5, discipline the inner kingdom. You become the guardian of your mind. You train it daily. You silence doubt before it roots. You master the patterns that dictate your destiny. Because the greatest threat to success isn't failure. It's forgetting who you are once you taste victory. And finally, the path culminates in phase 6. Leave a trail of impact. Because a truly fulfilled life cannot die with you. It must echo. Your authenticity becomes a mirror. Your presence becomes a catalyst. And your journey becomes the torch others didn't even know they were looking for. This is not a linear checklist. It's a warpath. A spiral of rebirth and reinforcement. You'll revisit these phases again and again, each time at a higher level, each time closer to the force you were born to be. And if you dare walk this path, not for applause, not for validation, but because you refuse to leave this world without becoming everything you could have been, then welcome. You're not just creating a life, you're sculpting a legacy. One carved in fire, sharpened in silence, and remembered by the impact you leave in your wake. This is the journey of the fulfilled warrior. Now walk it, and never look back.